Welcome back to story time. So, what's coming to me right now is that so many of us experience or have experienced other realities, other times and places, other spaces. Some of us are able to go into some of these places at will. And having no frame of reference for experiences like that, but and not it's something that you try to do, but you actually have the ability to do that. Having no frame of reference can create a confusion, especially for the children, especially for the kids. um and so I think this is part of the reason why it's so important for us to embrace our identity as a people, as embrace our culture, find out who is our tribe? Where are we from? Because the divine assignments that we have, they're connected to our family on the other side. So this is not like, you want to join a church or um, join some group. You don't just join a family. People are adopted, right? But when it comes to medical care, the adoption means nothing if they need like the same blood type or something from blood from a family member. The adopted family can't give it to them, right? So there is a place where your connection to your family is very important. And when we're talking about these different experiences that we have, and I talked about the grandmother telling me that, oh, you don't have a covering. This is our covering. This is our protection. Because in the spirit realm, especially now, there's so many wayward spirits just hanging out in the ethers. This is what people experience as ghosts. As a matter of fact, when I think it was October 22nd, I did a gathering honoring the ancestors and ancestresses who were brought along the shores of the Atlantic during enslavement. And one of the things that they shared with me was our children being murdered on these streets. A lot of them are not making the transition. They're not making the transition to the ancestral realm. People die in circumstances where they didn't expect to die. It's a shock to them. Oftentimes, they're still reliving that same horrific experience. And for those of us who are sensitive, we experience them. They can appear because their electromagnetic energy is so powerful in that place. We can see them as ghosts. And then those of us who can just see spirit, you just see them. But in those places, like a previous video that I did, I said when my daughter um and my sister and my daughter's other aunt, when they got into that head-on collision, Sabanku told me take an egg to that place, right to the place where the accident occurred. And when I said I couldn't, she said take it to an intersection, to any intersection. You want to contain that energy. Because what happens if that energy is not contained, it's the same thing when we relive our painful experiences outside of ritual. They take us down. So the deaths that are happening in our community, when these kids are just being murdering each other back and forth, these spirits are still hanging around in that place. And that's why there are certain areas that you go through and all you're seeing is these deflated balloons and these dead flowers and a bunch of alcohol bottles around the place where the children die, or in even some older people as well. At least they have a memory. They know they're supposed to pour libation. They know they're supposed to do something. They doing, you know, the best they can with with the residual of what is left. But that's not what needs to take place. They told me what needs to take place is that we need to go there. We need to gather there in ritual with the drums and the dancing and clean the space. And in our traditions, we knew how to clean the energy. The our funeral rites, the rituals that we did when people passed was to help them make the transition safely into the ancestral realm, because they knew there was danger. There's wayward spirits that would be trying to grab a hold of them. That's a whole part of our culture that we don't even know. So we're going through empty rituals, which is really for us. It's not doing anything for the spirit of the individual who has transitioned. We're mourning their death, and we're acting like our open enemy. And we're not even grieving properly. We go there and we're trying to be as quiet as we can and not show too much emotion. No, that's a time of release. That's a time of massive release for not just the individuals who lost their family members, for the entire community. And that's why even in our different communities at funerals, they will have people who are like, I think they call them professional wailers. They're not just acting, they're there. I remember Sabaku telling us they're there to stir up the emotions that are sitting within the people so they can clear those toxic emotions out. So coming back home to ourselves is a protection for all of the pain that we've experienced and all of the attack, because we're literally stepping into other spaces and times that we know about the attacks here. But when you find yourself in another space and time, and you may be fighting demons, that might be what you call it, fighting wayward spirits, and you know that's what you're doing, but there's no rhyme or reason, like they're coming up on you, and you may be good at fighting them, but you're not supposed to spend your life fighting demons. That's not what you're here for. It's because we have been uncovered and left unprotected, and we're doing our best operating with the mind of our enemy and a residual knowledge of who we are. And it's not working. It's not working. Like we can't pass this to our children. We have to let them know that on this planet, right, you're the ones with the power. You're the one able to travel between spaces and time. You're the one that's able to go and look and see what's coming up in the future. You may do it on purpose anyway. It just may be a natural ability. You have the natural ability to heal, to communicate with all of nature, to go into the forest, and communicate with the plants, like George Washington Carver, and heal whatever disease you have in your body or people around you. This is you. They tried to make you believe that you were powerless. They tried to make you believe that you were nothing. They tried to make you believe that the color of your skin meant that you were less than. They want you to like them and hate yourself, because if you hate yourself, they're safe. But more importantly, you have no idea of who you are. And so the things that you're asking and begging and pleading and crying for God to do and to open for you, you already have it within you. But because you've been deceived, you don't know. So you have to go back home. You have to go back to who you are. You have to go back to the ancestral jurisdiction. You got to go back to find out who you are, so you can begin to operate within your power and under the natural protection, because this planet Earth is your home. I'll see you in the next video.